You ever wonder what the point of life is? Why we're squatting on this big hunk of space rock that is traveling across the sun that we're slowly poisoning and will eventually be consumed by entropy? Oh yeah, that's right. It's to subscribe to fellow artists' Patreons, such as myself, an artist. Patreon.com/Matthew Donald. There you can find bonus content for both my shows, The Ritwit and Paleobites. For the Paleobites bonus content, we discuss pop culture featuring prehistoric animals. And this month, we're talking about, that's right, we're finally doing it, Jurassic Park! The book. The original book from 1990 by Michael Crichton. The one that the movie was based off of. Did you know it was based off a book? I didn't. Of course you did. Link is in the description for where you can sign up to the Patreon. Thank you for your support. Have a lovely day. And find your purpose in life. We all need a purpose. Maybe just go out and look at leaves. Smell the roses. Take a long walk on the beach at a cool summer night.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleobites, the podcast that, like a megalodon's victim, is dead in the water. My name's Matthew Dahl, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by a longtime friend of the show, Natasha Krech. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. How are you liking the new portable studio?
Hey, this works. It gives us better choice of location.
Yeah, better choice.
We have a good view today.
We have a good view. We were at your university.
Actually, community college.
Community college. Oh, have you seen the show Community?
Yeah, so, folks, there's no shame in going to community college.
No, I know.
In fact, I actually encouraged it for the first few years.
It's nice to go to a place that's like that's free. So I went to community college here in Denver for my freshman year. So, well, not my freshman year, a little bit before my freshman year, to get college credits before going to college.
So we're actually sitting at where I went to community college, and for as long as I choose to work on the degree in geospatial, will continue, and that's Front Range Community College.
Okay.
And I'm sure they don't mind the shameless plug.
Right.
But,
that makes sense.
They've got good, steady programs here in Colorado.
Okay. So, here's the dinosaur-related question. I think this is going to fitting with this, and this is, found that this is actually a good way to get dinosaur-related questions with people, is to give people a list of things. So, you have two options of answer. Community college or Ivy League school. And
community college.
But but for each, I'm going to lead you a list of dinosaurs.
Oh.
And where do you expect a dinosaur of this character to go in either of these things? So, like, for example, Troodon.
Troodon's probably an Ivy League dinosaur.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too. But then in terms of, like, Stegosaurus.
Stegosaur, the reports are conflicting, so...
Yeah.
I'd probably throw it at the community college.
Exactly. And like a Triceratops, I feel like would be at Ivy League because it'd be a football player or something.
Same could be said for the Stegosaur.
I guess that's
play
true.
Lacrosse.
Oh, it's a different sport. Yeah, they could use its tail. Okay, let's see. T-Rex.
T-Rex. Did it make it to university?
That's true. No, it didn't. It dropped out of high school. Velociraptor.
Velociraptor also could go either way.
Oh, yeah. Depends on the Velociraptor, I guess.
Yeah. They could be the popular crowd at the Ivy League school.
Okay, let's see. Let's throw a little bit more of an obscure one. Do you know Plateosaurus?
I do not.
Okay, it's the Triassic long neck that's kind of like still had. Okay, never mind. If you don't know that one, it doesn't matter. Okay, so how about Coelophysis? Do you know Coelophysis?
Coelophysis. Wasn't there one in Megazoic? Small little booger?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Fast?
Yeah.
It's a track athlete and an Ivy League.
Ivy League. Okay. Let's see. Apatosaurus.
Apatosaurus is probably going to be a tired old professor. I kind of think of it like that.
I could see that. So I'm trying to think of which ones could be more community college. How about Yi, that little flying dragon one?
Oh, they're the ones causing trouble while attending community college.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, well, we could do this for a
They're
long
the one
time.
teaching lock-picking club.
Oh, yes, they would. Because that's the locksmith in my book as well, who's a Yi. Yes, of course. Glad we have a fan. All right, well, we're talking about a creature. I said Troodon was the first creature I had in, what I mentioned on this list of, like, creatures that, like, would be in either community college or Ivy League. And the creature we're talking about is a very, very early troodontid. We're talking about Koparion, or the surgical knife. It's after the ancient Greek tool.
Nice.
Do you know what a Koparion is at all?
Yes.
Yeah, what is it?
So, you're referring to a specific type of curved knife.
Yeah.
Let me pull up a quick...
Oh, yeah. For the listeners, for this audio format podcast.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding it.
That's okay. I'll trust you that it looks cool. Okay, so let's talk about Koparion. It means surgical knife. Type is a troodontid theropod, a group of coelurosaurians closely related to the dromaeosaurs, aka raptors. Size, hard to tell, is only a single tooth been found, but I'm assuming if it's anything like Troodon, it's around 3 feet / 0.9 meters long. Oh yeah, look at that thing. That looks cool.
So, you were talking about a sword.
Yeah.
The copis.
Oh, that's a copis. Yeah, that's... If it's anything like Troodon's around 3 feet / 0.9 meters long and 50 to 20 pounds, 6 to 9 kilograms. Just an educated guess, though. Maybe it was T-Rex size and just had relatively tiny teeth. Or maybe it was the size of a sparrow and had the biggest teeth ever. These are all educated guesses. Diet carnivore. Time, this is what makes it notable for a troodontid. Late Jurassic. 151 to 150 million years ago.
Nice.
Very, 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 very early. Location, Utah, USA. Described in 1994. Pop culture appearances in terms of small surgical knives or swords from ancient Greece. I don't know, 300. They mainly use those big curved copuses in that movie. Like, let's just count that. Otherwise, nada. Because why would anything have this thing? Maybe it would. I don't know. For a while now, we've started to realize that dromaeosaurs might have had some origins in the Jurassic period, even though all known dromaeosaurs we know of so far from the Cretaceous. But even in the early Cretaceous, we get one of the biggest dromaeosaurs ever in Utahraptor and one of the smallest in Microraptor.
Nice.
Both were also very specialized, with Utahraptor being stocky and powerful, and Microraptor being tiny and delicate, as well as the whole, four-winged thing. Also, the dromaeosaurs are found worldwide, with confirmed specimens on 5 different continents already, along with unconfirmed remains in the remaining 2, and yet they lived well after the breaking of the supercontinent Pangaea.
Hardy species.
Exactly, but this, along with having 2 radically different species in the same family already in the Cretaceous, implies that the Protoraptor, Raptor Zero, if you will, lived far before either of them and back when the continents were much closer together, allowing them to spread out and specialize for the environments on each continent. But as of this recording, alas, there is still no direct evidence of the elusive Jurassic dromaeosaurs we assume are out there somewhere.
Well, and anyone who knows a little bit about paleontology knows how incomplete the fossil record truly
absolutely.
is. So who knows if we will actually find said
It's
Raptor
true.
Zero.
It's always going to be just a big puzzle with a lot of the pieces missing. We have to put it together regardless. It's annoying. I hate it. That's fine. We're getting closer, though, because we've not found Jurassic dromaeosaurs. We have found Jurassic troodontids, a family very close related to the dromaeosaurs that was also initially assumed to be Cretaceous exclusive. The first of these Jurassic troodontids discovered was this guy, Koparion. And it was an interesting one, and did I say interesting? I mean an absolute anticlimax. All we know of Koparion is just a single tooth. Yes, one tooth.
And it's interesting to see that they've speculated an animal from said tooth.
Well, actually, that's the thing. The namesake of the family Troodon gets its name, Wounding Tooth, because it's also only found with one tooth.
Huh.
And that's one of the reasons why people are like, is Troodon actually a valid species? Or like,
it is a fair question to ask in the name of scientific inquiry.
Is it dubious or is it not? Some say it is and should be reassigned to the more complete Stenonychosaurus, while others say it's distinctive enough to form its own genus.
I suppose further evidence will have to reveal that.
Yeah, I would love to know. I'd love to keep Troodon a thing. Because, Troodon is just, it's the brainy one. It's the classic. It's the classic one that's going to evolve into those weird human-looking things. Remember the dinosaurids from that one guy in the 80s came up with, where it's like, this is what, if dinosaurs lived on to the present day, the Troodons would evolve into humans, and this is what they looked like, and they looked like the aliens.
Here's the thing, though. Other sci-fis have explored other species, like Star Trek Voyager.
I had the
Parasaurolophus.
Yeah, which is a very interesting species to evolve intelligence in. I say as as an author of Megazoic, where all of them are intelligent. So I have no room to talk. But back to Koparion. If we only have is one tooth, let's talk about that tooth, shall we?
It's small. It's serrated.
It is on both sides, actually, with the 12 serrations on the rear edge, much higher than the 14 on the front edge. It's also asymmetrical, with the right side and front view protruding much further than the left side, which rather than being informative is actually just annoying, as we don't know if the tooth was on the left or the right side of the jaw. So therefore, we don't know which side is the inner or outer side.
And serrations like that makes me think that it might have been catching slippery prey.
Also like fish, maybe.
It might have been a fish eater.
Nice. Yeah, it's true. Serrations are really good for catching fish.
They are.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, like I'm trying to think what else. I would say snakes, but there were no snakes in the Jurassic.
No.
So that was-
Sharks would have existed, though.
yeah,
And sharks have notoriously serrated teeth.
that's true. Oh, I thought you were saying. I was like, sharks aren't smooth, though, are they? Aren't they rough?
Very.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, oh, you're saying that in terms of comparison, not in terms of this wasn't catching sharks.
Yeah, no, it wasn't catching sharks, but like sharks, it would have had serrated teeth.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Catch the slippery prey.
Right, exactly. So
But I'm no paleontologist.
I'm
a professional driver.
I'm no paleontologist. I'm a professional author. Are you a paleontology major? Because I'm not. What's your major again? You're a history major, right?
I was a history major. I
English
dealt with
major.
Human history.
Liberal arts, yeah.
Yeah.
We high-five listeners in case you couldn't hear that. So that's what we liberal arts majors do. We have podcasts trying to pay the bills. Subscribe to my Patreon, listeners. Man.
You couldn't. I try to sell arts and crafts on the side.
Arts and crafts, that's what people need to have. 2 or 3 jobs. They need to have a Patreon. They need to sell some things on the side. They need to volunteer. Some of them just have an OnlyFans. Like, just different.
To each their own.
Just different ways to make money. Like, this is what everyone's expected to do in this economy. Subscribe to my Patreon, listeners. Anyways, so that's really not much more to say about Koparion itself, because again, it's just that one tooth. But what is interesting is that there are Jurassic troodontids at all. It's not a fluke either. Like in 2019, there was another one described called Hesperornithoids, which is just confusing, as there's a giant flightless duck bird thing called Hesperornis that I confused it with. Not to mention there's a stegosaurid called Hesperosaurus that I definitely accidentally called Hesperornis when talking about it on the Stegosaurus episode a ways back. I was listening to that and I was like, it's because of Hesperosaurus, this is what we think of Stegosaurus. And I was like, okay, that's looking good. And they said, oh, because of Hesperornis. I'm like, no, you said it wrong. You said the wrong thing. There's too many Hespers. But if there are Jurassic troodontids and all the evidence points to a hypothetical Jurassic dromaeosaurs, then surely they must be out there somewhere, just waiting for paleontologists to discover them. Or maybe not. We might find them someday. We might not.
That's what's interesting about digging into the past.
In the meantime, we'll stick with the Jurassic versions of their less cool cousins. Yeah, I said it. Troodontids aren't as cool as dromaeosaurs. I don't care who I piss off. Come at me, troodontid fanboys, all 7 of you. I can take you all on.
Oh, I need to go get my popcorn then.
Okay, hold on. We're in a community college, right? I bet you'll love troodontids. Love it here. Let's see. Let's see if I can find any troodontid fans here. Oh, look, there's that one guy with a flag that says, "I love Troodon." Come out here. I punched him in the face. Okay. All right, anyways. As you can see, I'm kind of stalling for time right now because there's not really much more to say about Koparion. We've had a 12-minute episode before. This might be another one. So let's just say it's just going to be a shorter episode. Let's just rate it 1 out of 65 million, shall we? I'm going to give it like a 5 million until we have 5 more evidence of it. I mean, actually, no, maybe that's not fair because the fact that it's a Jurassic Troodontid is kind of cool. So 15 million.
I'm going to stick around the 5 until further evidence is shown.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe if we find out with whether that tooth is left or right, then that adds up 1 or 2 million.
If we find a skull.
Yeah, if we find a skull.
That'll tell everything.
Yeah, it's cool because I think, like Troodon, one of the reasons why it might be under the its relative Stenonychosaurus, which we do have a skeleton of. So that's the thing. So if you want to imagine a Troodon, you don't. You imagine Stenonychosaurus. Yes. But that's it for this week. Again, sorry, shorter episode, but it's called Paleo Bites, not Paleo 3-course dinners. It's supposed to get a taste. That's the thing, honestly, like, the whole gimmick of the show. Some people are like, oh, you don't talk about the dinosaurs and the facts, and nearly enough, all the information is very basic. I'm like, yeah, because it's called Paleo Bites. But in terms of Koparion, I don't think there's anything else for us to talk about. I think we covered all of it.
Yeah.
This is the complete Koparion package.
I'll let the PhDs have their fun.
Nah, there's definitely more, but this is 90% of it. If you want to know about what part of the world it was found in, where it was found, I mean, obviously it was found in Utah, but what formation, maybe the process of digging it, I'm sure there are papers about that.
Oh, I guarantee there are.
Oh, absolutely. So, but until then, that's it for this week. If you want to get the whole of the show, you can contact me at mattsd@matthewdoncreator.com for any general questions to either co-host. You can find me on social media at MatthewDonCreator on Facebook, at MatthewDon64 on Twitter, and MatthewDon64 on Instagram. One thing I've been doing more lately is asking if my co-hosts have anything to plug. You you're not really on social media that much, but
Well,
do you have like an Etsy or something, right? Or
I have a couple Etsy shops, but I am debating on whether or not to take them down because Etsy is so hit and miss, and they've been upping their fees.
okay, well,
I do have an Instagram where occasionally I do post crafts.
was it Natasha.Krech or something?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
And my photo is pretty easy to find. It's a silly selfie I took on one of my adventures.
Nice. The background of my phone, technically you're in it. it's for the listeners, it's me at Starfest from a couple years back, and she's in one of those inflatable T-Rex costumes, and she's eating my head.
Those things are no good for the summer, by the way.
They are not, but they're fun, though, the way they flop around. It's funny how they never get old. They can do anything, and they'd be funny. Well, maybe not anything. Nah, they can pretty much anything. No, maybe not anything. All right, so I also have a book series on Amazon Megazoic available for print and Kindle. I did not know about Koparion by the time I was writing it, so it's not in the book series. There is a Stenodykosaurus in it, though, and book 3 at one point. I remember that one for some reason. It gets killed. It's basically a red shirt. Spoiler alert. So, I also have another podcast called The Ritwit, where two twits talk about writting. In case you're wondering why there's been a bit of a break lately, it's been difficult to get recording on time. There's more information on that in the episode, which should hopefully come out soon for us on there. That's it for this week, though. As I say at the end of every episode of Paleo Bites, hey, troodontid fan, I'm gonna get you!